So I just got this book that I admit is kind of old and dated, but hey, it was $5. Plus, they give you the ideas and plans behind all chess openings. Now, okay, apart the jokes, it's a free volume, okay? So this is volume 2, and this only covers d4, d5, or d4, f5, but it doesn't cover d4, knight f6, okay? In volume 1 is all about 1 e4, and from what I see in reality, they are covering the ideas, in my opinion, from the white side. They start with unusual opening lines, and then after they show you some example games, after they give you a little theory, okay? Here there is the entire thing, practically, the content. Maybe you're not content, but here is the content. How do you do it? Yeah, like that. And the book, like I said, it's a little old. Why? Because it was made in Italian in 2005. I'm sorry if I cannot show it. And New in Chess made it in 2009. Now we are in 2024, which means 15 years, right? If I'm not wrong. Okay, so I will start to show the theory. This is the interesting part. d4, b5. For example, up to last week, I never encountered this move in real games. Also, if I knew it, because there was a master who had this idea of opening on the flank, and so he wrote many books, and a friend in like 2017 showed me those books, but honestly I forgot everything about it. Okay, what they say, after b5 you should play e4, and when he plays this, the best line for them is knight bd2. Why? Because if you play knight c3, this can give you a problem, right? So clearly knight d2 is the best for them. The problem of knight d2 is that it blocks the bishop c1, right? It continues with this, and you continue your normal development. And here it says you will transpose to the St. George defense, which is one e4, a6, with good prospects for white. So they give you 4 moves, okay? In this chapter, they also cover what happens when black plays knight c6, okay? And then they also cover the very interesting England gambit, e5, that is something you find online. Honestly, this I had it many times to fight against. You must be careful against this gambit. You must know what you are doing, okay? So here there are 5 games as a model. Let's watch them, because so we will learn about them. The 4th game is Pashikian Arman against Zapolsky's Antanas. It was played in Califia in 2008. So d4, b5, e4, bishop b7, and here we see that strangely, the game they are showing us is not following the idea that they show us in theory with knight d2, but it plays bishop takes b5. So I guess the knight d2, maybe they found it thanks to a computer. And here there is bishop takes e4. Okay, now you can say these 2 pawns are the same. Well, not really, because a central pawn his value is at least 1.25, while a side pawn is probably 0.75. They are not all the same, also if they look the same, okay? So please be careful about this, because in this position black had an advantage. He exchanged a side pawn for a central pawn, so that's better for black, okay? Knight f3, c6. Honestly, this is the problem maybe in this book, because there are no annotation and I don't use an engine, but honestly I don't like c6. Why I don't like c6? Because it cannot go back. And yet I don't have any idea how to find if c6 is very bad or not. Obviously c6 is also threatening a possible queen a5, so I don't know. Maybe the black player studied it and so that's the best he could come with. Up to you guys. I don't like to use an engine because in reality there are two problems. First, my memory is bad. Two, I don't know how the engine actually comes out with this move, right? Is definitely better than me. Any engine better than me. But I don't know how they come out with their moves, which means if I find myself in the same situation, how do I come out with the moves that the engine played if I don't remember them? Bishop d3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3. And here you can see that also if the material is equal, in reality white has an advantage. And you tell me, why white has an advantage? Because he has two pieces out, black has 0 pieces out, and white is ready to castle, which is one of the tasks of the opening, right? g6, obviously he doesn't think he can develop on this diagonal, so he goes on here, castle, bishop g7, c3, making him 8 against the granite formation, knight f6, so black want to castle on this side, knight d2, and now there is d5. White continues with b4, so he's trying to control this, but b4 gives me also another idea. I think he wants to put the knight here, maybe here or maybe here, I don't know. But he wants to develop the bishop and want to remove the knight from there. So that's the point probably. Now, after b4, black continue with castle. Continuing with castle obviously tell white where to attack. So as you can see, the opening is still not finished because both sides still need to connect the rooks, but white knows where to attack. Okay, so what is his next move? Queen e2. And you say, well, queen e2 doesn't tell me anything. No, it tells me a lot. It tells me that white want to play this move and then this, because he's already attacking the black castle thanks to this kind of formation, by the way. So knight d7, knight b3, rook e8. This is interesting, probably he wants to play e5, and f4, like I told you. So he cements his control of e5, preventing black from doing it. This is a problem for black. Now black plays e6, which means he wants to fight for f5. Bishop e3, knight b6, knight e5, attacking the pawn c6, queen c7, he defends, rook a c1 is probably, maybe, I don't know obviously, but maybe he's trying to open the file to attack on the c file, rook a d8, king h1, I don't know if he made this move to avoid to be attacked one day on the diagonal, or if he made this move with the idea of bringing this forward and moving the rook there. But this is the advantage when you watch many games, and that's why I continue to show you game after game after game. You encounter this maneuver, and so you have a library of maneuvers and ideas in your head, right? Okay, now how does black continue? Knight f d7, so maybe he has f6 and d5 as idea. Queen f3, obviously he's thinking, yeah, try to open this, the file, so I can directly go to f7. Knight e4, attacking on c3. c4, like I said, he wants to open the c file, but knight b2 enters into his deep in enemy territory. Now you are white. What do? You have a pawn here that is attacked by 2. Obviously you cannot really leave this diagonal. At the same time, you don't want to exchange the bishop pair, right? Because the bishop pair, it's really strong. So he played bishop e2. Queen b6, as you can see, this diagonal can be a problem. And now he plays c5. This c5 is interesting, right? Because this can become, if a knight can go here, a very important outpost that is called generally the octopus, because he has a lot of tentacles in enemy territory. Just showing you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares control in enemy territory. So it's kind of important. However, I don't know if he can actually reach there. I never saw this game, okay? I'm just commenting for what I see. Queen c7, rook c2, obviously asking the knight, where are you going? He goes on c4, and now you have to take, right? Because you cannot leave that knight on c4. Do you take with this or do you take with this? Again, you need to think about the needs of a position. Like I told you, if this knight could go here, it would be perfect, right? So you don't want to exchange the knight in this case. I told you the bishop pair is very important. Yes, it's very important. It is. But it depends on the situation. If I can put this knight here, then I give up very gladly the bishop pair. Okay? So that's kind of a good thinking pattern that you should have, alright? So he played bishop takes c4, d takes c4, and now there is queen takes c6. Okay? So queen b8 is down material, he doesn't want to exchange pieces, right? And rook takes c4. So at this point white has a material advantage that is big. Why rook takes c4? Because he needs to protect this. Knight f6, queen f3. Now white has a pass pawn. A pass pawn must be push, okay? Queen b5, and the queen returns to c6. Queen b3, sorry, queen b8, queen f3, queen b5. So here they have repeated moves. Sometimes the move repetition is a draw offer, but why would white offer a draw here? So in this case, it's not about a draw offer, it's about gaining time on the clock. Because if the time control is on 40 moves, you have gained some minutes in this way. Bishop G1 is probably preparing to move the queen on that side. Rook D5, Queen B3. Okay, I said the rook is the queen. Rook B8, Queen C2, A6. I honestly think by this point White has won the game. He just needs to be able to convert it, and that's why we watch games, because you also learn how to convert and win. Knight B3, Rook C8, Knight C1, and Queen C6. Knight E2, look at this knight that is doing a jump all over the board. Rook H5, E4. Okay, so now we see how things change. Now it's black that is trying to attack on the king side, and the white is just trying to create two pass pawns that will be unstoppable. Knight G4, Queen B3, Knight D5, because it's unprotected, B5, A takes B5, A takes B5, and now there is E5, F takes E5, and a very strange move is Rook takes C5, D takes C5, and Bishop takes E5. And now there is the last move of the game, that is Knight F4. Ta-da! Okay. So this is a very interesting game. Here White won and probably Black resigned. Again, two pass pawn, they generally cost a rook once they reach the 6th rank. I hope you enjoyed this game. We will watch more games from this chapter because they are kind of very interesting. Thank you very much.